Hi everyone, I'm DJ Kearney and I'm here at Okanagan Crush Pad Winery in Summerland in the heart of the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia. In all my years on the road as a wine teacher, I have trained thousands of sommeliers in North America. I've traveled the world eating, drinking, writing. This is one of my favorite wine regions and favorite wineries. We are about to taste the Holiday Cheers collection. It's time to be generous to yourself, to your friends. This collection has a couple of beautiful sparkling wines. They're complex, they're layered, they're easy to open. There's a fulsome, mouth textured white wine, and there is a juicy, pure, velvety Gamay. So let's get right into it. I love sparkling wines and I cannot wait to taste the Pink Bub. So let's get it open and taste right now. So we're going to start with Haywire's Pink Bub. There is a person named the Bub. She was the inspiration for this wine. It is made from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, organically farmed, and it has an amazing closure. A lot of us expect a sparkling wine to have a cork in it with a cage, and they're often tricky to open. This is simple. There's a beer cap on here, and it's the way of the future. A lot of great sparkling wines around the world use this cap. All you need is a beer opener, or you can use the end of a corkscrew, and I'm just gonna rip it off now. That's a great sound. Time to get festive. I'm gonna pour myself a nice little taste of that. Look at those bubbles. It looks so creamy and delicious, and that's exactly what we're going to get. So it's a pink wine, and by the way, rosés and sparkling wines are the biggest growth category in the wine world today, so we're super on trend with this. Look at those bubbles. It's moussey and creamy. Made from two classic grapes that make sparkling wine, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But this wine is made in the way that a really good Prosecco would be made from Italy. We call that the tank method or the Charmat method. It really focuses everything on the fruit. This wine smells so full of berries and apples. There's a wonderful little pastry or brioche smell. Oh my goodness, in the mouth, you taste what you see. Creamy, creamy bubbles. It's very cushiony and pillowy. And then just this essence of red berry and orchard fruit. It's dry, 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 bone dry, and full of lovely acidity. I would love a glass of this on its own, but if you wanted to pair some beautiful baked brie, maybe some pan-fried oysters or a little bit of pâté, that would be worthy of this wine, Haywire, the Pink Bub. So we got the holiday cheers party started with the Pink Bub. Let's taste another sparkling wine, the flagship here at OCP. Let's get this bad boy open. This is Haywire Vintage Bub 2013 vintage. Crown cap, which is what they do here at OCP. It's cutting edge, it's the way of the future, easy to get off as well. Just takes a little mustard. You might have won the Stanley Cup. That's what you want, a nice bit of foamy, fizzy action. This is the second wine in the Holiday Cheers collection, and it is the flagship wine here at OCP. They're a bubble specialist house as well. The Pink Bub was made in a tank following the Charmat method. This is made just like fine champagne. That means it's bottle fermented. The label says aged 5 years, bottle aged for 5 years. Everything done by hand, it's painstaking. This involves organic Pinot Noir and Chardonnay fruit. The first fermentation happens in the concrete tanks that you can see over my shoulder. Then the wine goes into this bottle and it goes to sleep for 5 years. The yeast is in there and the wine interacts with the yeast while it ages. This is a period called tirage, the resting period, the aging period. What that does over time is create an unbelievably complex wine. You smell it right away with a nose that is so aged. It smells of nuts and ginger, roasted nuts like hazelnut. There's an amazing toast smell, like a toasted fine brioche, something a little buttery. And the more you smell, the more the fruit starts to reveal itself. So apples and peaches, a little bit of red berries. This is an aged, mature wine, and it's got a complex, toasty nose that is the signature of champagne and a wine like this, the Vintage Bub. Let's have a taste. 7 years of age. It is so rich and round, and that's the result of time in the bottle. It has a beautiful, it's like drinking a Danish pastry, a fine apple Danish. Beautiful acidity, very bright fruit. It's fresh and vibrant, kind of belying all of its age time in the bottle. It's exactly what I want to have with oysters on the half shell. I wouldn't mind some crab cakes, or if you offered me a lobster tail with lots of butter, I would say yes to that as well. It's a very special sparkling wine, the Vintage Bub 2013 from Haywire. It defines the holidays to me. So let's open up Narrative Viognier 2018. So Viognier is the grape. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, Viognier. This is part of the Narrative series. And Narrative, by the way, the story behind it is that every wine has a story to tell. Wine is narrative. That was the inspiration for this series. Dying to get some in the glass. So let's pour and swirl and taste. So Viognier is a grape from France. Its homeland is the northern Rhone, and what it's famous for is making big, rich wines. Tropical, scented. Let's see how this lives up. Don't forget to swirl your glass. Remember that really helps the wine tell its story. Makes me a little weak at the knees. The nose in this is absolutely heavenly. It's really perfumed. Imagine orange blossom, jasmine, really intense white flowers. There's a lovely smell of mandarin orange. There's some beautiful pineapple. It really has a tropical feel to it. It's big and rich and textured. Wow, so delicious, so impressive. So the same flavors, this lovely tropical intensity of orange and papaya and pineapple, beautiful acidity. It's really spicy, it's lush, and it's quite decadent. It's got a very broad flavor profile. So this is an incredibly versatile wine. That richness, that intensity of flavor allows you to put it to work with anything you want to serve over the holidays. It could be turkey, it could be an Easter ham, it could be some salmon. It's wonderfully adaptable with food. So let's move on from this tropical head turner. We are now going to taste Haywire's Gamay from the 2018 vintage. So the final wine in the Holiday Cheers collection, this is Haywire's Gamay. It is the great grape of the Beaujolais region in France. Gamay is one of our top performers here in the Okanagan Valley. So you'll notice that all Okanagan Crush Pad wines have a screw top or a screw cap. Never ever worry about buying a wine with a screw cap. It's actually a very, very smart thing to do. It seals the wine perfectly, protecting it from oxygen, and it does the job just as well as a cork. Wines can age under these the same way that a cork-sealed wine would. Look at the color of this wine. It's a beautiful translucent ruby, and I can't wait to dive in. Let's have a big swirl. Oh. So, Gamay is related to Pinot Noir, and it has a sort of similar red fruit flavor. This smells of raspberry, wild strawberry, cherries, and plums. There's a little bit of spice. It's got a gorgeous fruity nose. The same fruit is just cascading out of the glass into your mouth. Wonderful red berry fruit. There's a lovely earthiness to it. It's got really, really bright acidity, which refreshes the palate, makes you want to have a bite of food and another sip of wine. It's incredibly versatile as well. It can handle fish because the tannins are mild. In food and wine pairing, that's one of the no-nos, serving tannic red wine with fish. They clash terribly and everything ends up tasting metallic and unpleasant. For fish and red wine, you want a low tannin grape like Gamay or Pinot Noir. So this would be absolutely perfect for a centerpiece, baked salmon, but it's going to be perfect with turkey, with ham, with lamb, any vegetable dishes you want to throw at it. Oh, it's a stunner. The white label Gamay from Haywire, the anchor in the Holiday Cheers collection. So here it is, the Holiday Cheers collection. I hope you enjoyed tasting along with me. We had some bubbles, one of them a beautiful rosé, a shapely white, and a juicy red. They're perfect for the holidays. This was my favorite wine. I love the Vintage Bub. The great thing about wine is we all taste differently. When you try these, you might have a different one, but it's great to get into a discussion about wine and why we love it. We're all such individuals, and so are the wines. If you love these wines and you want to see more of the collections, log on to OkanaganCrushPad.com. You might think of joining the Winemakers Club. There are all kinds of perks and discounts that you get when you do that. You can also book your visit to come here in the summertime.